Hey everyone, today I want to talk about one of the more overlooked principles of success. It's simply one word. It's called learning. I've been diving into this book by Jeff Colvin called Talent is Overrated. And in the book, he dives into all these different ways that high performers became high performers. And it wasn't always because of their natural ability. If our brain and our bones are not doing something different today than we did yesterday, then I challenge us, like, are we even really learning? Is it learning if you're not trying something new? So you may not be the student that you thought you were if you're not trying to do something new in your business, in your life, every single day. Remaining a student to the business that you're in is the key to success. So this can't just be book knowledge or kind of theory. It has to be experiential. You got to get in there and get dirty. So many of you may have heard this quote by Brene Brown. She says, knowledge is only rumor until it lives in the bones. And I love that quote. Brene actually got that quote from a tribe in Papua New Guinea called the Asaro tribe. And they had replaced the word bones with muscle. So knowledge is only rumor until it lives in the muscle. And I think in a lot of professions, that whether it's marketing work that we do, real estate services that we do, other types of client-based work, or creating experiences for people or creating value for people, we're using our brains a lot. We're using our strategies and strategizing. And so we're not always using our muscles or our bones quite as much in those kinds of jobs, right? Those are kind of more heady type jobs. But I want to challenge you that there is something for you to do differently, right? And that in order to succeed at the highest level possible, then learning is going to require trying and doing something that you've never done before. So maybe you've seen this. It's called the 4 levels of competency. The 4 levels of competency are unconscious incompetence, right? You don't know what you don't know. The second level is conscious incompetence. I know there's something that I don't know. And then there's conscious competence, which is I know there's something and I actually know how to do it. And then there's this level that many oftentimes call mastery, and it is the unconscious competence, where I'm kind of on autopilot and I just know how to do the thing. So, before we look at these stages of competence in more detail, I want to look at what drives us to staying in a unconscious incompetence kind of phase. It could be a few things. One, it could be overconfidence, that you are good at what you do and therefore you don't really need to be better, right? That thought is there that if you were to be better, you would be better, and so you're just going to keep being you because you're getting good results, or you're getting decent results. I would say that one thing that causes most of us to avoid moving through these scales of competency, though, is that we don't like tension too much, right? We try to avoid it, actually. That tension of feeling uncomfortable, that tension of feeling like maybe behind, right? That there's something I don't know. So most of us work to avoid tension, and we work to keep ourselves, blissfully ignorant. If you look at the word ignorant, there's the word ignore in there. And so, there's a lot of times that what actually ends up happening is we are simply ignoring an opportunity, right? We're closing ourselves off from awareness that can create an opportunity for us, because that opportunity is going to require that we do something different if we want to get something different. So sometimes when we are skilled, or we are revered, or we are looked up to, or people have given us applause, or people have given us, accolades, then we become so confident, and we become so clear in our value and in our work that we actually are kind of putting blinders on, and we're becoming a little too on autopilot, and it's not serving our highest good, because though you may be doing well, you are not at your best because you are choosing to stay ignorant to the opportunity for growth. So we have to start our learning journey over many times in our careers and in our lives. And I think that, if you can kind of grasp this concept of these four levels of competency, and you can create a perspective for yourself, right? A way of looking at life and business and the world and your relationships and your health and your kind of fulfillment and your meaning and your purpose, that if you can take on this kind of perspective on all of these things, that you want to be aware, you want to choose the growth journey, you want to choose to evolve, you want to choose to try new things and fail in the beginning, fall on your butt a few times, right? Then this is what creates the most success for people. And two, it's also what attracts people to you, right? It's the thing that people are like, oh, I want to grow too, right? It's my personal belief, it's B-Side's belief that there is possibility, that as long as we're alive, as long as we're breathing, as long as we're in this human body and in this human form, there's some possibility for us to reach toward and to evolve toward. But it doesn't just happen automatically. Some things are going to happen automatically, but other things have to be chosen, and they have to be practiced, and they have to be kind of like carved out, so to speak, right? And so that's where you can learn and learn and learn, but if you're not bringing it into your bones, if you're not bringing it into your muscle, if you're not doing something different, you're definitely not going to get something different. Number two, to move from unconscious incompetence to move from conscious incompetence, right, to conscious competence, it takes training. It takes this level of being told what to do, being told how to do it, being told where to arrive, being told what to do when you arrive there, being told how to have that conversation, being told what questions to ask, being told how much time you should spend on something, being told what you should create boundaries around, right? That's what training is. So moving from this level of conscious incompetence, which remember is I know that there are some things I don't know, but then we put ourselves in a training environment. We put ourselves with people who are skilled up and trained up in those areas, and they turn around and teach us. Then we have the opportunity to not just become aware, but we have the opportunity to expand from knowledge to what we call wisdom, right? Wisdom is this thing that begins to embody itself, so to speak, right? The difference between knowledge and wisdom is knowledge is, in a book. Wisdom is something that I believe. It's something that I know and I have context around. So that's number two. After we've kind of moved from conscious incompetence to conscious competence through training, that we are beginning the journey of doing the things that we know there is to do because we have been trained up by the professional, the person or the group or the team or the teacher, the facilitator, the practitioner who has walked that path before and is now teaching us that we are moving into conscious competence. And in conscious competence, we need to stay in practice. We need to stay in motion. We need to stay committed. This is where that word consistency comes in, or if you're a Darren Hardy fan, the compound effect begins to come in. And even in this book by Jeff Colvin, The Talent is Overrated, he says, what great performers have achieved is actually the ability to avoid doing it, whatever it is, automatically. And so though this, unconscious competence seems like the highest peak, right? It's on the highest part of the stair step, right? It looks like the highest part we can achieve. Jeff would actually argue that we need to stay in practice. We need to stay in conscious competence. We need to stay in I'm still practicing, I'm still refining, I'm still working on my craft. So, three things I want to just kind of leave us with as we wrap up this video. One is, if you're not a student, then there is no way you're going to achieve the vision or the reality that you want to achieve. Two, some of you are sitting there and you're like, I don't even know what the vision is. I don't know what the reality is I'm trying to create. I'm just trying to become aware of what the options are, maybe pull a thread or two, find a thread or two that resonates with me, then you're doing the right thing, watching videos, listening to people, get into books, get into podcasts, like expose yourself to whatever you need to expose yourself to create this awareness. And once you find something that you are like, hey, that thing could lead me to where I want to go, then it's important that you start training right away, that you begin to invest in yourself, right? Invest your time. That's the biggest thing. This isn't just about investing money. This is about investing your time. It's about investing your energy. It's about investing your focus. And then as you begin to train, stay committed to the practice. Maybe you need to create a routine for yourself of when you practice this particular skill set that you're working on. But stay in practice. And you know what? Getting to that unconscious competence or kind of that autopilot setting at some point may be what there is to do. I know for myself, at some point, some of my real estate sales business was on autopilot, right? There was a lot of other areas of my business, right? Hiring and training, setting, better systems and processes for my business were things I was back in, like the maybe, awareness and the training and the practice part of it. But at some point, holding a buyer consultation, getting someone to have a positive and beautiful experience purchasing a home, holding a listing presentation, getting them all set up to maximize the sale of their home in a good amount of time, an easy experience with the right expectations and communications. Some of that stuff began to be on autopilot, right? And so when you get to that autopilot, it's time to choose. Am I going to hand this off to someone else who I can train and go through the 4 levels of competency around? Am I going to keep this responsibility for myself? Am I going to share this responsibility? But regardless, the most important thing is that you stay learning. It doesn't matter what it is that you're trying to master. It is important that you work on your 4 levels of competency, and remember that knowledge is only rumor until it lives in the muscle. So go do something different today. If you're looking for an opportunity to explore coaching, or you're looking for better solutions for your business to break through maybe a ceiling that you keep hitting, or you're looking to add leverage into your business via, better solutions, better operations, more consistent marketing, then you can schedule an exploration call with me, and the link is below in the description, and I'd love to visit with you about it.